A. Influencing political decisions.
Ordinary citizens in the UK can have their say in political life in a number of ways. They can lobby MPs and members of the House of Lords, who are known as peers, about a particular issue. Petition the House of Commons to tell MPs about views on an issue and request action. Comment on legislation going through Parliament during the committee stage of a public bill in the House of Commons. Submit evidence to a select committee inquiry scrutinising the work and policies of the government.
B. Lobbying and petitioning. Methods of lobbying vary and can range from sending letters and making presentations to providing briefing material to members and organising rallies. Often the result lobbyists are seeking is for the MP or peer to vote a certain way on a specific issue. However, this decision will ultimately be down to the MP or peer's own judgment, and the influence, if any, that existing party policy will have on them. The public can petition the House of Commons to make MPs aware of their opinion on an issue and to request action. All that's needed is that the petition is properly set out and has the signature and address of at least one person. A petition can also be created and submitted online as an e-petition. The text of the petition is published in Hansard. There is a procedure for petitions in the Lords, but it is very rarely used. Generally, MPs will present all petitions they receive from their constituents. MPs present petitions by either giving a short statement in the debating chamber of the House of Commons or by simply placing the petition in the petition bag, which hangs behind the Speaker's chair. If a petition gets 100,000 signatures, the government will respond and it will be considered for debate. A copy of the petition is sent to the appropriate government department. Government departments are expected to offer observations on all substantive petitions. C. Select committees.
There is a Commons Select Committee for each government department examining 3 aspects: spending, policies, and administration. Some select committees have a role that crosses departmental boundaries, such as the Environmental Audit Committee. Other Commons committees are involved in a range of ongoing investigations, such as allegations about the conduct of individual MPs. Lords Select Committees do not shadow the work of government departments. Their investigations look into specialist subjects, taking advantage of the wide-ranging expertise of the Lords and the greater amount of time, compared to MPs, available to them to examine issues. Committees in the House of Lords concentrate on 6 main areas: international relations, the European Union, science and technology, economic affairs, communications, and the UK Constitution.
A. United Nations. The UN is an international organisation constituted in 1945 to make the world a better place for humanity. From its foundation, it has pursued these key aims: to keep peace throughout the world, to establish friendly relations between countries, to work together to improve people's lives by conquering poverty, disease, illiteracy, and environmental destruction, and to encourage respect for each other's rights and freedoms, to be a centre for supporting nations in achieving these goals. In other words, the UN stresses the importance of negotiation when there are disagreements between countries. It is opposed to injustice and upholds the rights of minorities, but it will only support military intervention if its Security Council agrees that this is justified. B. Political movements.
A political movement is a group of people with the same beliefs who work together in the attempt to achieve something. They often make use of a slogan, a short phrase that catches people's attention and is easy to remember. The aim of a political movement might be the liberation of a minority, perhaps, or the integration of one particular social group into the society from which it is, or feels itself to be excluded. Members of a political movement sometimes go on a march, a walk where they can demonstrate their solidarity with others sharing the same attitudes and aims.
C. International conferences.
A major international conference is currently meeting in Rio. Delegates from 60 different countries are attending. Their aim is to determine ways in which each country can minimize the energy requirements of its infrastructure with a view to slowing the rate of global warming. The governments of each country recognize the importance of these discussions and have undertaken to support any program of measures agreed on by the conference. Although some of the issues under discussion are undeniably delicate, the conference has so far shown more unity than is customary at such gatherings.
A. Legal verbs.
To bend the law or rules. To break the law or rules in a way that is considered not to be very harmful. To contravene a law. To break a law. Noun, contravention. To infringe a law or rule. To break a law or rule. Noun, infringement. To impeach a president or governor. To make a formal statement saying that a person in public office has committed a serious offence. Noun, impeachment. To lodge an appeal. To make an official request that a previous judgment should be changed. To uphold or overturn a verdict. To say that a previous decision in court was correct or incorrect. To pervert the course of justice. To make it difficult for justice to be done. Noun, perversion. To quash a conviction. To change a previous official decision that someone was guilty. To set a precedent. To establish a decision which must usually, in English law, be taken into account in future decisions. To award or grant custody to. To give one parent or adult the main responsibility for a child, especially after separation or divorce. To annul an agreement or marriage or law. To declare that it no longer exists and never existed. Noun, annulment. To sue someone. To take legal action against someone. To allege. To say that someone has done something illegal without giving proof. Noun, allegation. To amend a law. To make changes to a law. Noun, amendment.
B. Crimes.
Discrimination. Unfair treatment on grounds of sex, race, or nationality. Verb, discriminate, against. Embezzlement. Stealing money that belongs to an organization that you work for. Verb, embezzle. Criminal, embezzler. Harassment. Putting undue pressure on someone, for example, for sexual reasons or to get a debt repaid. Verb, harass. Insider trading or dealing. Illegal buying and selling of shares by someone who has specialist knowledge of a company. Verb, do or practice insider trading or dealing. Criminal, insider trader or dealer. Money laundering. Moving money obtained illegally so that its origin cannot be traced. Verb, launder money. Criminal, money launderer. Perjury. Lying when under oath. Verb, commit perjury. Criminal, perjurer. Stalking. Following someone or giving them unwanted or obsessive attention. Verb, stalk. Criminal, stalker. Trespass or trespassing. Go onto someone else's land without permission. Verb, trespass. Criminal, trespasser.
C. Words and expressions with law.
A law-abiding person is someone who always obeys the law. A law-breaker is someone who, often and deliberately, does not obey the law. If you take the law into your own hands, you do something illegal to punish someone because you feel the legal system will not punish that person. If you lay down the law, you say with great force what you think should happen. If someone is a law unto himself or herself, he or she behaves in a way which is independent and not the way in which most other people behave.
A. War and violence. War is often seen as a last resort when relations between states break down totally and diplomacy and such measures as economic sanctions have failed. The decision to take military action is rarely made lightly, since even the best planned military operations, carried out with the benefit of the latest high-tech weaponry, inevitably result in civilian casualties. Military intervention may be carried out with the goal of regime change, but it is often the leaders of tyrannical regimes who are the most difficult to overthrow. Even more tragic than wars between states is civil war, which often begins with civil unrest and clashes between rival ethnic, religious, or political groups, and may escalate into all-out war and end in the brutal suppression of one group by another, or, in extreme cases, ethnic cleansing and massacres. Conflict resolution may take years to bring into effect, and mistrust and hatred between groups within the same country may continue for many years. B. Other words and expressions relating to war and peace.
Powerful West African rulers waged war on their neighbours in the 19th century.
Hostilities finally ceased after 5 years of bloodshed.
The invading army besieged the city.
The patrol was ambushed on a remote highway.
The two armies signed a truce in 2016.
A ceasefire was declared in 2015.
A peacekeeping force entered the country in 2016.
International observers monitored the ceasefire.
The rebels fought a long campaign against the dictatorship. The rebellion lasted 10 years before the dictator was defeated.
A suicide bomber killed 25 people at a military base yesterday.
C. Metaphors of warfare.
The government is waging war on drink driving.
Paparazzi are besieging the star's Hollywood home.
A major advertising campaign was planned to launch the new cosmetics range.
Several companies are battling to win market supremacy in sales of smartphones.
We have a major fight on our hands if we are to save the company from bankruptcy.
A fleet of bulletproof cars followed the president's limousine.